Okay, welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's another cartoon tutorial. This time it's all about illustrations for a book that I'm doing. Well, actually I'm doing illustrations, and it's written by a guy called Clive Ward. And some of you may or may not remember many years ago there was a very good range of books out called 101 Uses for a Dead Cat by Simon Bond, I think it was. Hilarious illustrations about what you could do literally with a dead cat. It caused a lot of uproar, a lot of people very upset about it back in the, I can't remember, the 70s or the 80s, one of the two. And but most people got the humour. They realised it was just a joke and nothing to get really upset about and fanny arse over, but there's always someone's going to get upset and offended. So me and Clive got together and we thought, you know what, let's go and upset an entirely new generation of people. So we've got a book out here, very similar in vein, only of course we're not using cats because that's taken. So we've got 101 uses for a dead mother-in-law, which we think could be very popular. Certainly hope so anyway. And as the name implies, there's going to be 101 illustrations and 101 different ways of utilising your recently deceased mother-in-law. Initially we thought this would be a great gimmick book for husbands, but of course as the years have gone on, it's become quite apparent that there's quite a lot of women who don't like their mother-in-law or have problems with their mother-in-law. So it's not just men anymore. So this book makes probably an ideal gift stocking filler for Christmas, or just a little birthday gift idea for anyone who's got an interfering mother-in-law. Now, right from the outset, I will say that neither of my mother-in-laws have ever been anything other than very kind and friendly and wonderful people. But I do understand that I'm in somewhat of a minority. Women complain about them because they interfere with their lives. Men complain about their mother-in-laws because, well, they just complain anyway. They're a pain in the arses. Right, so there you go. So that's the mother-in-law. This one's actually going to be, the use here is going to be a piñata. A beloved party fun of all kids. It's going to be a fairly longer illustration than most of them. A little bit more detail involved. But it's always good to see, like my videos are all about, is standing over the shoulder of someone who can do their craft and learning from it. As I always say, you want to learn to do some plumbing, then stand next to a plumber. Want to be a carpenter? Stand by a carpenter. Want to be a cartoonist? Watch the cartoonist. And that's what these here videos are for. I love drawing. I've had a lot of people over the years ask me, how do you do this, how do you do that? And the honest answer is I can sit there and spend all day saying, oh yeah, well you do it this way, you do it that way, but if I put a video out, it's there for you. And also, hopefully I'll get a nice little following. The videos are so much easier. Now, here, he's going to whack the poor mother-in-law, or in his case grandmother I suppose, with a baseball bat, but you notice that I've had it coming at this slight angle here. This is because it's a cartoon, the wind will drag it back. It's just, it shows action, shows movement, speed, whatever, however you want to put it. So definite some thwacking going on here. There's Let's give it the cartoon thwacking image. I put a lot of these little dots in and they signify, I don't know what they signify, but they just seem to look right. It's some kind of an impact mark. Okay, I think we'll call that one done. There you go, that's that one. This down here, by the way, it's just going to be grass, so I'll just to show you there, a little bit of grass. Finish that off later on. Let's have another one over here. There's normally just the characters in this book are the father. Even though I said obviously women can be very upset and annoyed with their mother-in-law, I'm sticking to the stereotype, which is the man. But just take consideration that women do get upset by him as well. I know that, I'm very aware of that. Also, the thing about my cartoons is the action. Not every cartoonist can do action. If action is what you want to do, then this is the channel to be, because I do love my action. And there are many ways of doing it. I'm not always going to just show the lines like I got here, you know, this sort of business. That's one way of doing it, but often I'll do them without any lines at all, but it will still have action in. And over a period of time and following my channel, then you'll soon get a grip of it, or get to grips with it. At least that's the plan. Keep coming back. Once again, he's swinging like that, so the baseball bat's going to be dragging through the air. Like so. And his is a definite thwacker there, so like so. And the thwack mark, or yeah, thwack mark. Those little dust motes or motes or whatever they are. And now we're starting to get some sort of shape and design for the picture. If you can hear noises in the background, we're having a very, very unseasonal summer's patch in the UK. We don't normally have a summer, but we're having a very nice one at the moment. So I've got the windows open, and we get all kinds of noises coming through. Right. I do not like the sound of car horns going. I think it's bloody annoying. People around here, they just they see someone on the other side of the street and they got to blast their horn. Obviously, they weren't there at the lesson where they were taught to wind the window down and say, "Hello, how do you do? How are you? Are you okay? You fine? Yes, absolutely fine. How's the wife? How's the kids? Yes, yes. Like your dog? Wonderful." No, they've got to blast the horn as much as they possibly can and just be annoying. So anyway, more my pet hates. Right, so there we go. We got a little bit of everything going on here now, and yeah, I think maybe we'll have another one, another kid who's about to get involved. So he's going to be running up. He's going to be running up. This book's going to be a landscape one, very sort of thin and long, shall we say. And these illustrations may look like they're square at the moment, but once I've reduced them and put the wording on, they should fit quite nicely. You have to really know what it is that you're drawing to. You're drawing for customers, and they want certain specifications. Then you make damn sure that you get those specs right. You can draw sized up, but make sure you get those specifications right in the first place. But with this one, because we're producing it ourselves, then we get to choose the shape and size. Now with this one, it is not actually hitting anyone with it yet, so we have the more standard shape of it. And because I want to show that he's getting ready to go, let's give it a couple of swirl marks like that. Right, that's that little lot done. We'll just do one more thing over here, which is the father. Now he's in the foreground, so we'll see a lot better. A lot larger, sorry. And he's been given the instructions for the kids to get stuck in, so he's loving this. There you go. He seems sufficiently happy with himself. May give him a couple of sharp teeth. Right, so yes, the next bit is let's just fill the background scenery, make it look a bit more like a garden. We'll have a fence here. I don't know whether anyone out there in America has picket fences like we do, but we've always I've always drawn sort of be uneven. Not too sure where to get it from. I think it might have been old Tom and Jerry cartoons. I'm a big fan of slapstick. Now you don't need to do every single one, just enough to signify that there are, they're individual planks, we say. There we'll do a few here, over here, a bit of these signify bushes, and maybe we'll have a tree coming up over there. That's it. And I'll just do a rough sort of shape here, just show the foliage of the tree. That will all be done in a lot more detail once the cartoon's complete, or come on once I'm inking it, which is the next stage, part 2. Alright, let's do some leaves now up here. So again, I may have mentioned in a few of my videos in the past that when you're drawing someone coming at a pace from either this way or that way, when you do a shadow underneath them, always have it trailing behind them. it gives the impression that they're moving faster, like the shadow is trying to catch up with them. See here, like I mentioned before, here we've got some sort of action thwacking thing going on. So that showed the movement there, and the same over here. But I also said that sometimes I don't use any movement whatsoever. Any movement markers, that is. But yet this character's moving at speed, and I've done it without the aid of any sort of zoom lines or anything like that. I can do it like that, or I just literally, I do it with the aid of trick ones, like this business here makes it look like he's moving. His hair is flowing back like that, so it looks like he's going through the air. He's been forcing the air through his hair. But anyway, that's it. That's the pencil already completed. And just hold on for a while, and I will come back, and I will teach you or show you the inking. Hello, we're back again with the inking now. Over the years I've used a variety of implements. I started off with a brush, then I went on to a dip pen, and now I'm back on with brush and dip pen. They say brush is probably the hardest one to actually learn to use. I have no idea. I'm just more comfortable with it, that's all. I like to do the sort of thin and thick lines. Like I say, start off thin, and go thick like that. There's nothing really quite like a brush for doing that. Also, it's just become part of my technique and style. But the only addition that I've now got with what I do is the lines here, the folds and the creases. I use a normal pen, just a normal marker pen, a thin one, not a Sharpie, a thin one, and it works. How do I describe it really? There's a good comparison between the two. I just really like it. See how, see what I did there? That's like a thin and thick line there. That looks quite nice. My voice goes in and out. That's because I've placed the ink pot right over the other side of the drawing board, and it takes me a week to get over there. Okay, so straight in with the mother-in-law, the deceased mother-in-law. Now, the reason why I say that I work with a pen as well is because there's going to be gaps in the artwork. You'll think, oh, but he's missed something. Like here, there's a row of flowers on our hat. Well, they're going to be drawn with the pen, so they're not going to be. I'm not going to put them in now. So that's just really all it is. So as you're aware what's going on. I don't like to keep you in the dark. I'm very good like that. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, what I'm rambling on about, because it is quite difficult to talk and concentrate on what you're doing, because these are, in the end, these are going to be illustrations for a book. So it's not like I'm just throwing an example of how to draw someone getting beaten by a baseball bat whilst hanging off a tree. It's not like that. So this is actually going to go out there, and people are going to pay for this book. So it's got to be right. So it's difficult to sometimes talk and draw. There's a little bit of shaking going on. It's not because the camera's nervous. It's simply because I move around the drawing board and I'm a clumsy sod, and I catch the leg of the drawing table and it makes the camera wobble. Because until I can get myself a proper setup, this is the way it's going to be. So my apologies. Right, that's enough grovelling. Let's get back on with the cartoon. Yeah, so if I go quiet for a while, it's not because I've lost interest in you. It's because I want to concentrate on something particular. Anyway, I'm a bloke. We all know we can't multitask. But yeah, but anyway, if you've got, like I said, if you've got any questions about what I'm doing, or about cartooning in general, it hasn't got to be about what I'm doing here, just put them in the comments section below, and either myself or someone assigned to me will answer your questions for you. No, am I kidding? Trying to make myself sound important here, like I've got a staff. I haven't. It'll be me. I'll answer everything. Who am I kidding? There. There's the first little thug. Now I know I said on the previous segment that he's probably thwacking his grandmother because this is a children's party. It might just be some of the kids who are coming to it. Little boys, eh? Another difference between the way I do my YouTube channel and maybe a lot of other people don't is that I could easily just say, this is how you do a foot, this is how you do a hand, this is how you draw a line. And I'm sure I will do those type of videos in the future. But I think if you watch me producing a piece of art, then you will automatically see all sorts of tricks of the trade being brought into being. Just naturally through the process of me doing it. You know, things that I don't even think about. I no longer think, oh, I need to do this and that for this particular drawing. I just do it because I know my trade. And you too can learn from that. So you get to learn all those things that I could probably explain to you, but I don't think about at the time. But, like I say, any questions, just put them at the bottom and I'll get around to answering them just as soon as I can. And also something I'm bound to say, which is, if this is the kind of thing that interests you, intrigues you, or you're learning to become a cartoonist yourself, then please subscribe. And probably most importantly, let everyone know, let your friends know. Anyone who you think might be interested in watching cartoons being produced whilst an idiot rambles on whilst he's doing it. Okay, so coming along now. Let's get the little character. No, actually, I load the brush up with this now because I want to make the tree quite a bit thicker. So there's no sort of thick and thinning it, it's just putting it down because I want it to be contrasted with the rest of the picture. Also, it'd be interesting if you let me know whether you prefer shorter tutorials or longer ones. Whether you like me just doing the quick pictures, or whether you are more interested in the lengthy ones because you can learn so much more. Let me know. Right, that's the tree done. That's that out the way. Now we're back onto the smaller lines. I mentioned before that there'll be certain things missing because they'll be produced with the little marker pen. Now it's become more apparent because I haven't done his eyes in here, the hair hasn't been done, the hair up here hasn't been done, the rope that the poor mother-in-law's hanging off hasn't been done. These will all benefit from having thinner lines. So now we've got another tree. Now it's going to be thickish lines, but not as thick as before, maybe sort of a little cross between the two, because we are talking about a distance now. It's in the background as opposed to the foreground. There we go. Now the tree in the foreground, sorry. We do the leaves, but they'll be a bit thicker and not quite so defined. Stupid as it may sound, you would have thought the background stuff would have been more blurry and the foreground more clear, but it's not. I don't know why. It's just the way I do it, and it seems to work for me. I always like to do these little things hanging off. They signify leaves. Now let's go down to the other tree. You'll see what I mean by more detail, smaller version, not smaller, thinner version of the line, but just gives the illusion of distance. Okay, a few more little leaves here. Yeah, I know what to do. Now, almost finally, the father, or the son-in-law, he's a bit closer again, so his lines are going to be thicker than the children's. Like I say, at the moment, as of this picture, I'm about 65 illustrations into the book. I think this is 65 actually. So we'll try and do a few more. But of course, if you come to this video and it's about a year old, the book will already be out. And it will be on Amazon. So if you like it, you're interested in it, then get along over there. There are many ways you can support artists and writers, or creatives, should we say. And the best way to do it is by buying our products, because we're not relying on publishing houses, because over the years they've controlled every author, artist, musician, you name it, that they've had their grubby little hands on. And thanks to the internet and companies like Amazon who give us create space, we're now able to print our own stuff, or publish our own stuff. Even people who work with games. I think Amazon even has a program now whereby they can upload their games in disc form, and people can upload them, download them, whatever it is that they do. I think that's brilliant. So if you support us, get out there, buy the book, and you will have our eternal gratitude. Actually, having looked at this, I'm going to go against what I said before, and I'm going to speak correctly, Dixon. I'm going to do the rope, or at least part of it, in a fairly thick line, because I think that will delineate between the lines quite strongly, the lines of the character. And also when I do the little rope markers, it will show it even more. Okay, I think I'll also do the fence as well, because we'll have these lines coming in, so that would be nice. And a little bit of the bushes around here. Okay, I'm now going to go away and grab myself the pit. We'll clean this brush first of all. Always make sure you take the water off it, otherwise it dries in there and it sort of like splays the end of the brush and makes it impossible to draw. So go and clean that up now, and I shall be back with the pen work and for the final stages. See you in a minute. Everyone, I'm back again. I've got my pen. I was away a bit longer than I thought. Cleaned the brush off and got a bit of ink on my finger, and then I rubbed that off and it went over here. So I rubbed that a bit and it was up here and a bit more, and it started to spread over there, and within 5 minutes, basically it's everywhere, and I had to have a shower. But that's my life. Right, no thick and thin lines here, just the thin lines. You maybe start to see the difference now. Pretty more so here. You've got the thicker lines there, so you come into it like this. See, a lot thinner. You may not be able to see it, I don't know. But when you look at it when it's finished, when you rush out with your money and purchase the book, 101 Uses for a Dead Mother-in-Law, you'll notice it more clearly then. Exactly what I mean. You probably see the difference between these bushes and those bushes. Now also, you may notice that when I drew the grass here, running along there, I just did that. But that's just because it's just the penciling stages. Now what I will now do is come in and do a few more sections of the grass around here, just to give the garden a bit more depth. I'll also be putting some shading underneath there where the bushes are, and a few would help if you knew what I was doing. A few more of these, a few more sections of leaves, gives a bit more of a three-dimensional feel. And now here comes the first thwacker. I think my pen's about to go actually. Good job. Oops. I have another one in my utility bills. drawing of the nose. And let's get the impact marks there. I did try and do many ways of doing the eyes to make her look dead, but in the end the old style, the old-fashioned way of just these crosses seemed to work perfectly. I didn't want to be old-fashioned about it, but in the end it just worked better that way. She's been knocked all over the place. Okay, here comes the hair. There's about 4 or 5 car sirens going off at the moment. I'm not too sure whether they're doing this on purpose or whether they're having a crime spree in the little town that I live in. Right, got a thwack a bit here, so whack. Your thwacky marks. There we go, that's that. A bit more grass. Now, like I did round here, I won't do that round there because it'll take away from his face. And it's very important you see his expression of absolute joy. You know, he's so proud. It's like his dream come true. Few little finishing touches now. Now you can see with the very thin lines in with the thicker lines of the rope, that really shows it off quite nicely. Okay. She's going to cast a shadow of some sort, isn't she? Maybe just a little bit of decoration over here. Some longer pieces of grass. And signify some flower heads. And there, my friends, I think we have it. That's the first in the YouTube tutorials on an illustration for the book, the upcoming book, or as I say, if you're watching this in about a year's time, the recently printed book, 101 Uses for a Dead Mother-in-Law, by myself, Carl Dixon, and written by Clive Ward. As ever, subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. You learn an awful lot more. I'm here quite regularly now, teaching people how to draw cartoons in a variety of methods and techniques. Any questions, put them on the bottom. It'd be great to answer them, and just keep coming back. It'll be great to have your company. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.